Court proceedings move forward for the Lyman duo charged with nearly 24 counts of animal cruelty. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, the Lyman duo, who was arrested after 21 dogs were rescued from a camper filled with feces last month, were back in court yesterday in Scottsbluff County. 45-year-old JD and 40-year-old Sedania Sims are each charged with 21 Class 1 misdemeanor charges of abandon, cruelty, neglect of an animal. During Monday's hearing, more than 24 witnesses and 20 exhibits were entered into the proceedings. Additionally, a May 13th pretrial hearing was set for both JD and Sedania. Both have pleaded not guilty to all 21 counts. If convicted, each count carries a penalty that could include up to a year in jail, a $1,000 fine, or both. And during last night's Scottsbluff City Council meeting, Matt Solomon provided the board an update from the Panhandle Humane Society on the dogs that were rescued.
The 21 dogs that were rescued back in March. So they were able to adopt out almost all of them except for 4. All of them have been adopted except for 2. And it sounds like, those will probably be adopted fairly soon. No issues with the previous owners. They surrendered the dogs, and so all the dogs are in good homes. There's one mom dog with 3 pups that's currently in foster care. They're just waiting for the dogs to get a little bit bigger, and then they'll adopt them out once they're ready to be weaned.
Well, authorities in Oklahoma say 4 people have been arrested and charged in connection with the late March disappearance and apparent homicide of 2 Kansas women, one of them formerly from Gering. ABC News Radio is reporting that 39-year-old Jillian Kelly had been chosen to accompany 27-year-old Veronica Butler on March 30th to supervise a court-ordered custody exchange involving Butler and the father of her 2 children, part of a problematic custody battle since 2019. Authorities say they found their vehicle abandoned in rural Oklahoma near the Kansas border with evidence pointing to a violent abduction. Court documents say that one of the suspects was the children's grandmother on the father's side, and along with another suspect, who is her boyfriend, had allegedly made death threats during prior custody conversations with lawyers. The arrest affidavits say that an unnamed teen reported the other couple's potential involvement to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation. We'll have more news right after the break.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
Benzel Pest Control has been the Wyoming and Nebraska area's most committed professional pest control company. We have 4 generations and nearly 50 years of experience serving Nebraska, Wyoming, and Colorado, as well as certified entomologists on staff. So whether you're dealing with spiders, wasps, rodents, or any other unwanted visitors, give Benzel Pest Control a call today for an estimate at 888-229-2128 or visit our website at benzelpestcontrol.com.
Welcome back. Both the past and the future were highlighted during a weekend open house at Regional West, part of the 100th anniversary of the healthcare organization. The past in a display of pictures and items spanning the past century, including the capstone of a 75th anniversary time capsule and its contents, as well as gathering together items for a 100th anniversary time capsule, including COVID-related items and a challenge coin. Past board chair Hod Kosman told the crowd the facility was born out of a need for care in the region, eventually becoming a Level 2 trauma center in an effort to save lives due to increases in vehicle travel and the arrival of more intensive agriculture practices.
And so with a Level 2 trauma center and our flight crews, we can bring people here or where they need to be in much better time, and the outcomes are remarkably better. If you come to this hospital and you need a higher level of care than what we can provide, that care is minutes away, not hours away.
Robotic surgery was highlighted as part of the wave of the future, with the Da Vinci system already in place and the current drive to obtain a Varian Edge linear accelerator for the Regional West Cancer Treatment Center. On Monday afternoon, the celebration continued outside. Members from the Scottsbluff High School Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps helped the hospital with a 100th anniversary flag-raising ceremony. Regional West Health Service Board member Jim Trumbull said that April 15, 1924 marked the date that West Nebraska Methodist Episcopal Hospital opened its doors in Scottsbluff. The cadets raised the U.S. flag, the Nebraska flag, and a new flag commemorating RWMC's 100th anniversary. Dozens of hospital staff lined the front entrance of the building during the ceremony as well.
Life is crazy. Pain is stressful. How can anybody concentrate with these busy schedules? Now you can. This is Ben Moravec coming to you from Hydrozen, a float therapy business right here in Scottsbluff. I'm here today to let you know we now have memberships for $49 monthly. You can guarantee yourself at least one float per month. You know how floating keeps your muscles relaxed, your joints relieved, and your brain clear to think? Now you can float at a reduced rate each month. Inquire today at hydrozenfloat.com or call us at 308-63-FLOAT. Hydrozen. Unplug and recharge.
The wait is over. Ensemble entry doors exclusively from Renewal by Andersen have arrived with an incredible offer. Secure, timeless style, elegant features, customized countless ways with the legendary quality of Renewal by Andersen. Right now, you get 20% off every Ensemble entry door, no money down, no interest, and no payments for 12 months, no payments for a year. Please scan the QR code on your screen or visit rbawyoming.com now to book your free estimate. Ensemble entry doors, the wait is over.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Ag Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint, you're driving home our reputation.
Well, as planting season is approaching, the fields of soil you see now will be dotted with new crops for the upcoming growing season. But alongside those crops come insects looking for their next free meal. We caught up with an extension entomologist to find out which pests might be causing some trouble for crop producers this year. Market Journal's Mike Straub is standing by with the scoop. Mike?
Corn insects were one of the topics at the University of Nebraska Extension Corn Production Clinic. Less damage from European corn borer has been observed in field corn. For food-grade corn producers, European corn borer can be devastating. Routinely checking fields for an infestation is recommended.
A lot of our field corn that we're growing here in Nebraska has the Bt crystals in them, and so those traits help control European corn borer and other, generally lepidopterous insects, moths and butterflies and things like that that are feeding on corn. And they do a really pretty good job of controlling those pests in field corn. But when you get into food grade corn, much of that food grade corn, they do not want those traits in them, and so it makes them susceptible to feeding by lepidopterous insects such as European corn borer. And so we can have a real problem with that, and in those cases people have to routinely check their fields for the infestation of European corn borer, and then make a decision, okay, do I have sufficient number here for me to treat those or not with an insecticide usually. And so not only do we have issues with like white corn, food grade white corn, but popcorn is a real problem because the popcorn plant is a much less robust plant than the field corn varieties. And so popcorn growers are real sensitive to looking for European corn borer and making sure that they're controlled at the right time. When you're scouting for European corn borer in particular, you have to keep in mind that it has 2 generations a year in Nebraska. And so on whorl stage corn, you want to be looking for the leaf feeding, which as a leaf unrolls out of the whorl, you get this what looks like kind of a shotgun pattern, shot hole pattern in the leaves. And then once you've seen that, then you have to pull that whorl out and unroll the whorl to actually look for the larvae inside. In reproductive stages, so usually shortly after tassels when we start to see the moths flying for the 2nd generation of European corn borer, and they start laying eggs on the plant. And we actually prefer people to look through the whole plant for these eggs that are kind of cream-colored, whitish-colored egg mass that they kind of overlap them, so it makes it look like fish scales on the plant. And pretty often they're on the underside of the leaves, but they can be on the top, they can be on the stalk, they can be just lots of places. But when you look for those, same kind of thing, you're going to want to assess how many egg masses that you find on average per plant.
Western bean cutworm is another pest to be on the lookout for. It's important to scout and find these in the egg stage to best prevent an infestation. If you do find you have a western bean cutworm problem, it is recommended to apply pesticide when corn is 95% tasseled.
So when you look at them, when they're very small, they look like little tannish brown little worms. They're caterpillars. And as they grow, they of course get larger, but they take on kind of a tan pink color. And there's a structure right behind the head. It's this little shield that turns almost black. And then the large larvae, in particular, you can see that black shield is divided by some white stripes. And up until that point when it's easier to see them, I always like to describe what looks like on their back like tire treads. And you can see that on there, and that's a pretty good way to tell whether you have larvae. Usually they're going to end up in the ear tips where they're feeding, and that's way you can tell, okay, I have western bean cutworm. Unfortunately, at that point, it's really too late to control them. And so we want to actually look for eggs as the eggs are being laid. And those eggs are usually laid in the upper third of the plant and almost always on the top surface. And I always like to just say on the top leaf of the plant, look for these egg masses. They're little white-colored dome-shaped eggs that are usually in masses of 5 to 200. And when you see 5 to 8% of those, 5 or 8% of the plants with those egg masses, then we usually recommend that insecticide be applied. Once the plants are, like the field is 95% tasseled, and then that's a good timing to put these insecticides out.
The most significant pest of continuous corn is the corn rootworm. Continuous corn production often leads to higher populations of corn rootworms. Heavy rootworm pressure may result in reduced efficiency of an insect control product, whether it's Bt corn hybrid or an insecticide.
So western corn rootworm is the most important pest of continuous corn in Nebraska. And we'll say insect pests. Some of these diseases are pretty important as well, but as far as insect pests, corn rootworm is the most important, because if a farmer doesn't control that pest, then you will have plants that the larvae will eat much of the root mass off of that plant. And so it keeps the plant from being able to deliver nutrients to the developing plant and the ear. And it also reduces the stability of the plant, so that if you have a wind event, it's going to blow it over, and then it here again, it just is not able to grow very well, and at the end of the year, it makes it really difficult to harvest that field, because nothing is in a row anymore.
The use of diverse management tactics on a farm is the best strategy to manage rootworms. Periodic crop rotation out of corn can greatly reduce a rootworm population. Avoid repeated use of the same insecticide products and Bt corn proteins to avoid development of resistance. Reporting for Market Journal, I'm Mike Straub.
It takes a community to keep our waters clean. Please don't let pollutants be swept and carried away into our storm drains. This can cause problems like clogged storm sewers and contaminating the area's rivers, lakes, and ponds. Non-point source pollutants are not from one source or property, but instead from many sources and properties, which can impair our waterways. Even one piece of trash can add up. Tri-City Stormwater wants you to remember, it's our water, our responsibility.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Let's take a look at your community calendar, brought to you by Riverstone Bank. The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Better sleep and better health can be found at Western Sleep Medicine in Gering. Since 2006, Western Sleep Medicine has offered the lowest cost sleep testing either in their independent sleep laboratory or the privacy of your own home. You have control over your health care and your out-of-pocket cost. All insurance is accepted for a much lower cost than the regional option. If you need a sleep study, ask for Western Sleep Medicine. They've helped thousands of people over the years and want to help you. Western Sleep Medicine. Better sleep, better health.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, a Scottsbluff hotel that was once a premier destination has seemingly shut its doors for good. The Bluff Inn, located at the corner of Highway 26 and 21st Avenue, has been literally boarded up at its entrance and all lower-level windows. The change occurred last week and is now listed permanently closed online. In its heyday, the Scottsbluff Inn was a go-to spot for fancy brunches and special occasions. Over the years, it changed ownership and names, including a Motel 6, Days Inn, and most recently, an America's Best Value Inn before going back to the Scottsbluff Inn. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there. We'll see you here next time.